Fortnite is in a very interesting spot right now because it has a huge fan base, but it's also lost a lot of viewers as well. With the new season coming out, it's a huge point in the future of Fortnite. Here are some possible negatives about the new season coming out soon. The first possible negative of the new upcoming season is the new theme of the season pushes a lot of people away. A possible water theme is all but confirmed at this point, and we all know how much we hate fighting in water. When the lake was in the middle of the map, that was some of my least favorite fights I've ever gotten involved in. So any additional water added to the map seems like a negative in my opinion. Now, some seasons have been great, but if they take a big swing and miss on this season, that could push away many, many more players this season and cause a really bad downswing in the future of Fortnite. The second negative of the future of Fortnite right now is the current standoff between keyboard and mouse and controller players. This has been a huge fight that's been coming to a head for a while now, but it seems like it's starting to boil over at this point. Keyboard and mouse and controller players have been arguing about the balancing of the two since the day that crossplay was introduced into the game. And it seems that the fights have become fiercer and fiercer every day since it started. With some of these fights spilling over into Twitter and causing a lot of fans to choose sides and get angry at the other side. If this fight cannot be calmed down, it may cause more and more players to leave until eventually most of the fan base is gone entirely. The third possible negative of the new season of Fortnite could just be the new games taking current Fortnite pros and content creators away. First of all, Fortnite is not new anymore. It's gone through a life cycle of over 2 years, approaching 3 years now, and that's long for any video game that comes out anyway. So the fact that it's made it this long has been a huge success. Many new games nowadays are really pushing the envelope and pulling away a lot of Twitch streamers and content creators on YouTube. With games like Warzone and Valorant coming out recently, they've really pulled away a lot of the big names, and that could be a huge problem for all the fans who watch these people religiously. A lot of them will follow wherever they go and watch them no matter what game they play. And also, the games are great as well. So if Fortnite fans and players become bored with that, they may just continue moving on to new games. The fourth issue with the new season of Fortnite is the skill-based matchmaking situation. First, when they added skill-based matchmaking, that originally pushed away a lot of players, especially high-tier players. I'm a big fan of Tim the Tat Man, and he basically stopped playing Fortnite after they added skill-based matchmaking really aggressively. There were points where a lot of pro and really high-level players get into any game, and every single fight is as sweaty as can be, and you can't get through anything without a huge build battle and all of these really time-consuming fights. Now, I'm not saying that we don't want to do that ever, but every once in a while, it just is really nice to run into some newer players that a fight doesn't last the whole game. Basically, what you have is all these high-level players playing against each other and getting exhausted by the games, or you have new players who are basically just playing lobbies that are 99% bots, and I don't really feel that that makes players better. I know myself, whenever I play against a bot, I feel like it makes me worse because I am not prepared for someone of any skill to attack me after that. The second part of that is they began taking away skill-based matchmaking, and it definitely intrigued some pro players and players that are of my level, some of my friends and people like that. But we had gotten into lobbies, or I know that I had watched Ninja, Tim, Cypher, and Courage get into a game, and it was basically 90% bots. I don't know how many real players they killed, but it couldn't have been many. Fortnite definitely needs to find a balance where we have our arena games, and we're really trying whenever we play our arenas. But then we have our regular games, and I'm not saying that we have to have all terrible players or all good players. They need to find a balance where we're all having fun and not feeling like we're playing players horribly worse than us, but then not playing players that are really trying hard all the time. There needs to be a balance between all of these things. I don't have the answer, but I'm not a Fortnite developer. They need to bring back the situation we had in the earlier days, and I know that's easier said than done. But I remember going into games in season 3 and 4, maybe it was just me being naive, but I always felt like I could win every game, but I didn't feel like I was the best player in the world. But then at the same time, I didn't feel like I was going to run into Tfue every single game. If there's a way that they could bring that feeling back for everyone, in some sort of skill-based matchmaking situation or lack thereof, that could cause a lot of freshness to the game, I think. The fifth problem, and one of the biggest ones I have, is that a lot of bugs that have been in the game for far too long. Every season, they try and bring these new content and fresh ideas, which I do appreciate. But there are some core mechanics and bugs in the game that just are not working properly. And it seems that a lot of times the developers, I don't know if they either can't address the problem or just choose not to. But having a game that has so much money on the line in some of these competitions and not fixing some of the basic bugs that really cause big problems in a basic fight is really discouraging. Now, I'm a controller player, so I'm not familiar with a lot of the bugs that any keyboard and mouse players face, but I'm sure there are some for them as well. But things that really bother me are, I know that when controller players open the inventory, a lot of times it's frozen and you can't adjust your guns. Also, if you swap between your gun fighting and then to your building and then back to your gun fighting, the same gun will not be highlighted that you used before you switch to building, which can be all the difference in a huge fight or any fight. And also, I've seen this, I know, for a lot of different players. Opening chests or opening different things or killing a player and loot getting stuck in a wall or loot getting stuck in the chest. These things have been around for ages, and a lot of times I don't feel like they're being addressed. Maybe they are, but it seems like they should be fixed quickly, because these things can have huge effects on fights, especially if we're fighting, if players are playing for thousands, if not millions of dollars. So there you have it. 5 of my biggest fears for the new season coming up of possible things that they could do that would affect the game negatively. Ultimately, I don't want any of that to happen because I do love this game, and I wanted to just get back to a spot where everyone is having fun and really enjoying themselves. And I have some faith that the developers could figure out some things and really have a new, fresh season that brings back a lot of fans. If you made it this far, thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate it. If you could, please give us a like and maybe subscribe so you can check out some more videos we have coming in the future.